Okay, it's April 3rd, and here's your midday HAARP report for about 4:30 p.m. Central. And in the Pacific, we're not seeing a whole lot other than this low pressure that had been pretty well defined here has now been squashed and is gone. And we saw last night extreme heavy chemtrailing going into Washington State and Oregon. The interesting thing is we can now see rainfall trying to get into the Texas Panhandle. And so what are they doing? They are using a HAARP downburst to prevent that. So we're going to go to the other satellite east view and see this much clearer. But this is the area right here where there's a HAARP downburst. And as I said earlier, Texas is a primary target because a third of the world's cotton is grown right here. And they intend on taking all that land for a few pennies on the dollar. Okay, so we're going to goes east, and let me zoom in a little on Texas here. And this is just visible mode here, and you can kind of see that something funny is going on here. Here's rain trying to come into Texas, and it's being kind of squashed, and we can see some circular rings here. So if this is actually a HAARP downburst, we will see some dry air being pushed down to the surface. And I want to make this clear. The elites own the water rights in New Mexico, and it costs like $2 million to buy the water rights to drill a water well. Whereas in Texas, each person owns their own water, and this sticks in the craw of the 1%. So this is why you see HAARP now being used right here today. Let's look at water vapor mode, and we will see if there is indeed dry air suddenly appearing. And what do we see? The dark is dry air. The light is humid air. And not only do we see dry air, but we see all kinds of little herringbones here. Herringbones and arcs. Just a whole lot of strange stuff going on. So now if we have dry air showing up at the surface right here, just ahead of this storm as it goes into the Texas Panhandle, then that means that there has to be a high pressure circulation in the jet stream in this area right here. So let's look at the jet stream, and let me see if I can make that a little bigger. Okay, so a high pressure would be clockwise. These arrows here would need to be turning clockwise right here. And we don't see that. In fact, what we actually see is a left turn counterclockwise, meaning low pressure. So there is no high pressure right here in the jet stream. High pressure will make sinking air, so that cold, dry air would be sinking to the surface and then warming as it gets compressed at higher pressure. But we do not see the jet stream high here. Therefore, we cannot explain by normal means why there is dry air showing up here. And this dry air, of course, is shutting down this rain storm before it can get into Texas. We can see all kinds of strange herringbone pattern right here. Remarkable, as usual. I mean, I see fine herringbones. I see like fish scales. There's just a lot of detail there in this water vapor mode. See, the other thing I want to look at was the current rain map, you know, this tells the story. We're, Texas Panhandle absolutely desperate for rain. Just, it's horrific. These farmers will have another blowout year, and they'll start losing their farms to the banks, you know, to the Federal Reserve System. And we see this rain. As it crosses that Texas border, look what happens to it. This has been going on for 2 years, 3 years. Well, really since 2011. In the summertime, New Mexico's like a rainforest, rains every day, real heavy. Hits this line, and it completely shuts off. And we're seeing it right here. And I'm telling you, this is the mechanism. That this nasty little island down here, Isla Guadalupe, transmits 1 billion watts of radio energy kind of anywhere. This is right at the edge of its range. That's about as far as it can reach, I believe, unless there's heavy chemtrailing where it can bounce the signal. Okay, and let's just quickly look at it in other wavelengths. Oops. Because you always see additional stuff when you look in other wavelengths. Well, I mean, it just looks like a typical storm without having the background to kind of be suspicious of something else. It just looks like, oh, another storm petering out. We can actually see a little herringbone right here. Let me have a look at that real quick before I run out of time. This guy here, back up one. Now that is actually a herringbone, and this is in shortwave infrared. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little, you know, whatever they were, they showed up in shortwave infrared. So they're warmer than the surrounding, and that's why it showed up. Okay, and go back to the goes west and have a look there in infrared. I'm sorry, in water vapor. It's a very odd looking thing here in water vapor mode. It's wow, it's like a psychedelic. Let's scoot this over. It's like a psychedelic pattern of some sort. Wow. Holy cow, that's really a bizarre and exotic looking. You can actually see here's this main downburst of dry air, because we're looking in water vapor mode, and here are numerous ribs of HAARP outflow boundary. So they're taking this HAARP beam and they're moving it bang, 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 and even down here bang, 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 bang. They're going to make sure that this area here is so dry that Texas cannot get any rain. At least the Panhandle portion. This is where they're focusing on depleting the Ogallala aquifer. Because if they can drop the aquifer quickly enough, then the Texas legislature will make water rights state-owned, and that means owned by people like T. Boone Pickens. Okay, so that's what's happening in HAARP this afternoon. Thanks.